Alright, Ozzers, kali ini Jazz Permana balik lagi ngobrol bareng salah satu bintang tamu yang ini kayaknya udah sering banget ngobrol sama Jazz ya. Kalau ngomongin setiap kali dia ngerilis lagu, ini dia selalu bareng sama Jazz ngobrolnya ya kalau di Oz Radio ya. What up, Joel? Gentle Bones, how are you doing?
I'm very good. How are you? How are you doing today? It's
I'm
always
doing
nice to talk to
fantastic.
you.
Yeah. It's always nice talking to you as well. I'm doing great. It's all been the weather is sunny here as well, so everything has been really great. Now that I'm also talking to you, what are you doing right now? What are you up to?
Just been making music.
Hmm.
Just trying to make the most of this time. I think
Okay.
we talked about it before, so there's like you can't really play live shows right now.
Yeah.
So just doing my best. Just trying to write more songs. Do
Yeah.
what I can. Try to
Okay.
add some positivity with my music.
Okay. Okay. So you can do a lot of live shows at the moment because, especially considering the
No.
situation right now, we're living in a very confusing times. So you did a lot of the time. So you write a lot of songs. How many songs have you written? I'm curious. Is it enough for maybe two album or three albums so far? How many songs have you written? Have you wrote?
Man, I think this year I wrote at least about like 50 songs.
50 songs?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's all because of the pandemic. During lockdown, you're just making a lot of music.
Yeah, just making a lot with
Yeah.
music. Just yeah. I mean, it's quite fun because I guess like I haven't. I think the only time I got to be able to write like this was I think before my music started picking up when I was like 16, 17 years old.
Okay.
So it's good now to be able to come back to just writing for fun again. I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
before the pandemic, it's almost like a job. Like you're working and then you have to make music. You're still making music, but it's like a job. But then after lockdown, you're making music almost as if like it was like it used to. You're making music for
Yes.
fun, just like back then when you're doing YouTube as well. Yeah, it's really
Yes. Yes.
great that
Yes.
it's become like that again. How's the pandemic in Singapore? I'm curious. Is it getting better at the moment or is it not? How is it? Are you in Singapore
Uh.
at the moment?
Yeah. I am in Singapore.
Yeah.
Uh.
How's the
uh
pandemic there?
it's getting better. I think
Yeah.
people are sticking to the rules, and everybody seems to be caring for one another, which is nice. Just
Yeah.
making sure that everybody is as safe as possible.
Hmm.
I think people still have to go out; they still want to have fun, but it's quite controlled. How is it there?
But in Bandung, I would say that it's also the same. The people are following the rules. Of course, there are a lot of people who want to have fun, who wanted to go to a lot of places, but still, we are very, very strict when it comes to the health protocol that we have to follow. So a lot of people are still following the rules here in Bandung, in Jakarta as well. So in Indonesia, I would say that in terms of the people following the rules, I guess it's getting better, but the numbers for the virus is still rising up. It's still pretty worrying, but it's getting better, at least when it comes to the people who are now adapting to the current rules. I would say it's pretty much the same, just like in Singapore. Yeah, it's great.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. But let's talk about your latest music, Dear Me, which is something that I really enjoy. But what I enjoy the most is the fact that this is a song that you wrote to yourself, some sort. Song that you wrote to
Yes.
yourself. Yeah, it's like a self-reflection song, right? But what curious me is what got you to write this kind of song. The song that you basically wrote for yourself. What got you into this?
Um. Do you know the song "Man in the Mirror" by Michael Jackson?
I know, yeah. Well, I guess that's
Yeah. So
that's
that
one of my favorite song from him. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess that was really the inspiration behind the song.
Okay.
Just writing like a song to myself, like as if I was
Mm,
singing to myself in the mirror, like
yeah.
how I just wanted to for once like write a song to myself.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's really that kind of idea whereby it's not so much. I guess it's self-reflection to a certain extent, but it's also just taking time in the song to like thank yourself, to say thank you to
Yeah,
yourself
yeah. Mm.
for all the things you've been through and all the things you took yourself through, all the times that you were there for yourself,
Yeah, yeah,
all the
yeah.
times that all the hardships that you went through, all the kindness that you gave out
Yeah.
to other people that was taken for granted, but just taking the time to thank yourself for being kind in the first place and all these kinds of things. Yeah,
I guess it's sort of like you're taking the time to basically, because you wrote a lot of songs that's basically sort of commenting what is outside, and then you're trying to appreciate what you see and then what you heard. But then on this song, you're basically like trying to appreciate yourself more, instead of it's not so much self reflection, but it's more like it's time to go back to myself. Let's take time to write this song. This is to thank myself about all the things that we went through. I guess it's like sort of you're treating yourself as your own best friend, and then like you're actually doing fine so far. Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly that.
yeah.
Yeah, I
The
think
man in the
I think
mirror.
it really,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it is very important to do that. It may
Mm,
sound a bit uh cheesy or like weird at first, but I do feel like it is an important kind of skill that I wanted to pick up for myself.
yeah.
So might as well just start the practice off with a song.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But it did, yeah. I guess if someone is if someone would just start to look at the title of the song and then say, "Oh, dear me," I guess it sounds childish and everything. But if you actually listen to the music, it's more than that. It's more than just the "dear me" that it's that you mentioned at first. It sound cheesy, but it's not. You know, the message is actually pretty strong when you actually try to analyze the music. But in general,
Thanks.
what's Dear Me about? What kind of story are you trying to tell through this song? In general.
So I mean, the funny thing is, some people spoke to me about the song, and I think a lot of people's like first impression was that it was like a very personal story to me. But I think
Mm-hmm.
if you analyze the lyrics properly, it's really not. I'm not trying to tell any personal story of my own. Rather, like I'm writing the song "Dear Me" so that
Mm.
you could relate to it as well. Anybody could relate to it. And the whole
Yeah, yeah,
idea of just acknowledging the fact that it is possible to just speak directly to yourself in
yeah, yeah.
song.
Mm.
So I think with regards to the song, it's like if you refer to the lyrics and the chorus, it was really just about how I think I've been through life on my own, trying to figure out life, trying to put myself out there in the world and try to figure out who
Yeah.
I am around the
Mm.
world, but actually realizing that you kind of knew yourself inside all along, and
Yeah.
sometimes you don't really need the outside world to figure out who you are. Sometimes you
Yeah.
can just figure it out on your own, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I used to be quite alone in my head in that sense, whereby I had to look at the world around me to figure out who I was as an artist, how successful I was.
Mm.
But then I realized like I could just be okay with where I am,
Yeah. Mm.
and that's actually like quite a huge. And it just didn't occur to me that is more important than the outside world sometimes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess it's almost like a self-discovery story, in which you have to discuss. Sometimes we are too focused on trying to make other people discover who we are, instead of just why not just us discovering ourselves? Because sometimes when we look
Exactly.
outside and we're looking at other people, we're losing ourselves because we're trying to fit in sometimes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a
Yes.
self discovery story, basically. But
Yeah, and,
uh,
and the truth is like no one will ever really understand you, you know, and it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
their fault. It's just like how you would never
yeah,
truly
yeah.
understand somebody else. Yeah,
Yes, 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 yes. True. Yeah, yeah. I like that. Yeah. No one truly understand who you are, except yourself, I guess.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But the same way that you're not gonna be able to understand other people, it's not like other people are evil just because they don't understand you, but it's just because it's not easy for them to understand who you are. So I guess for you, it's time for us to just understand ourselves. I guess that's what you're trying to say from dear through dear me, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. What I like from the song is basically it sounded like it was a song that came out from the early 2000. You know, it's like pop R&B, but there's also hip hop things in the song as well. Is it because was the reason for you to make the sound like early 2000s pop R&B? Is it because in the song you sort of like talking to your old self?
Ooh, that was a good. That's a good analysis of it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I did not intend to do that, but yes, maybe actually because I'm a huge fan of the 2000s R&B.
Oh,
You know, I'm a
okay.
big fan of the boy band stuff. I think I told you this before as well, like Westlife. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
Boys to
Mm,
Men,
yeah,
Backstreet
yeah.
Boys. And I was a huge fan as a boy of all these boy bands, and so I think that song is quite reminiscent of to me the kind of songs that those boy bands did. So
Mm.
yeah, that's a cool story. I think I'm gonna say that from now on. that was,
Well,
that was
I
right.
thought maybe I guess I was overreading it, but I thought that would be something that you would do, you know. But if it's not, I guess it's just because you love the sound. It's just because you
Yeah,
love
I
the
love the
sound.
sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just
But
singing
is
to myself. Yeah.
yeah. But is it difficult for you to combine ballad and hip hop? Because I know that it's something that you always wanted to do because if I analyze most of your the releases even before this, you try to combine this art, this ballad, and then this hip hop sound into one, and then you finally manage to do that in Dear Me. Is it difficult? How did you manage to do that?
It was quite difficult. I guess I've
Mm.
been just practice doing a lot of production recently.
Hmm.
Wait, give me a second. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I've just been doing a lot of production recently, and I've just been trying
Okay.
to figure out like my hip hop stuff, and I'm just trying to like produce like cool hip hop beats and R&B beats. You know, figuring out the trap
Mm.
hats, the trap soul kind of music.
Yeah.
And I've also really always been a big fan of ballads and like songs like Bleeding Love or
Yeah.
uh, songs like Louis Capaldi stuff. So I just wanted like this
Yeah.
blend of all these things together
Hmm.
and try to figure out what a ballad to me is
Yeah.
with
But
electronic music.
but you managed to do that on Dear Me, which is really great because you combine all of those things, and it's just great, you know. It's fresh to hear it, and in fact, it's like one of my favorite song from you as well so far, in my opinion. Like I mean, I'm a big
Thanks, man.
fan of your earlier release, but this one is, I guess you can say that it's personal to me as well because I'm on this journey of trying to deal with my own self right now. So when I hear, when I saw the title "Dear Me" and then I read about what the song is about, it's really great. I thank you for that. But do you have, speaking about self discovery, I would say that I'm pretty sure you also knew about this. There are a lot of people out there who are currently struggling with their own self, you know, with their own, struggling to accept their own self because they never discover who they really are because they take so much time to look outside instead of looking inside. Do you have a message for a lot of people or for those who are currently struggling to discover their own self? Do you have a message for that?
Um, it's man, I know what you mean. I
Yeah.
I think the first thing it's I don't like what I realized as well. It's like I don't think they haven't discovered themselves and we've discovered ourselves. I don't
Mm,
see that as like a difference. I think like we're just I think there's some people who have already begun the journey of starting to discover themselves. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
think
yeah,
any
yeah.
one of us will ever like truly find ourselves. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's a daily process, and it will never end. We will never truly know who we actually are because we're changing
Yeah.
every day. But
Mm-hmm.
what the idea is to just build up the relationship you have with yourself, and
Yeah.
always
Yeah. Yeah.
constantly be open to learning your own habits and your own.
Yeah.
So I think maybe some people have the trouble of discovering themselves because they think that it is a destination.
Okay. Yeah. 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 I agree. I agree. I agree. Yeah. 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 When it's not even when it's not even a destination, if you think that it's a destination, then you will never actually find out because the destination doesn't actually exist.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess it's like a
yeah,
constant state of figuring out. Like every day in your life, you're just figuring out what you are, and then you never actually understand who you are because it's not a destination. But at some point, you will find comfort. You will find comfort in who you are. I guess that's what it is. When
yeah.
you,
I
yeah,
yeah,
when you settle with it's okay to be me. It's not wrong when I become like this. When people don't understand me, it's not their fault. It's not my fault as well. It's just we're different and something like that. So you find comfort in yourself.
yeah. Exactly. Finding
Yeah,
comfort.
yeah,
I think we're also very confused by like social media and stuff,
yeah.
whereby you know where
Mm,
we see the perfect versions of everybody. We think that like, oh, we have to be this kind of person, and then we look at a celebrity that's been media trained in America their whole
yeah.
life, and then we
Mm,
think like, oh, how come we? I wish I could express myself like them, but we're in two totally different places. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
And just because we see the perfect side of them just via a phone screen, it doesn't mean that they're perfect all the time. And I think we get
yeah.
confused in that way. And I
Mm,
think like even for you, like you're a very confident guy, right? I mean, there must be some people that look at you and be like, hey, I wish I wish I could be as confident as him. But everybody goes through their own
yeah, yeah.
struggles. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting you mentioned that because a lot of people seem to believe that I'm a very confident guy. I'm an extrovert. I can talk with anyone, but deep down, I feel like what you feel about being not able to connect with a lot of people or feeling not confident. That's what I feel sometimes too. Sometimes people looking at me from the outside, believing that I'm this kind of person, but then they felt insecure because they're not like me. But I'm also insecure because they're not like me, in the same way. Like they believe that
I get it.
I'm confident, but no, I'm not always confident all the time. It's just my job to be like this. I act in a certain way, but on the inside, I'm not always like this. I have a lot of things in my on my mind as well, just like you did, and that's something that I guess a lot of people don't really understand. What people posted on social media, it's just like a content. It's just content. So they're
Yeah,
showing their perfect side, of course, because to millions of people, obviously they will do that. But it's not like their life is always like that all the time, 24/7. I'm pretty sure that they
yeah,
also have
exactly.
a lot of concerns, the same way that maybe the people who follow them also have concerns, which is really interesting that you also mentioned that. How important it is to love yourself for you, Joe. For us to love ourselves, how important is it?
Well, I think it's getting more and more important each day.
Yeah,
If you get what I mean.
yeah, of
Yeah,
course. It's very
especially.
important. Yeah, 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 yeah. Especially
Yeah,
in our climate at the moment, in which we're living in a constant state of judgment, in my opinion. Because especially when you're so active on social media, people are going to criticize you every single day, and that's really crazy. When you decided to, when you're not loving yourself, it's gonna be hard for you to survive. What do you think? At least
agreed.
that's what I think.
Totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
It's very important. Very important. Do you have
and
any
and
tips
it's
that you
uh
can share? You seem to be someone who's very comfortable with your own self. That's also what I see from the outside. Of course, I don't know who you what you're dealing with, or do you have any concerns? But that's what I believe. You seem to be very chill and at least very content. At least that's what I believe. That's how I perceive
Yeah,
you.
exactly. Yeah, you know how it goes. I think it's the same thing with your confidence. You know.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But do you
I
have
mean,
any
to
tips?
me,
Do you
the
have
way
any
I see
tips?
it,
Oh yeah, okay,
it's
okay.
the same. It's the same with like you being confident and me being cool. It's like it's
Mm,
kind of us being the source, like providing for ourselves what we feel we lack. You know.
yeah.
So, so it's
Yeah.
like if I'm trying to if I'm struggling with myself, like I would rather just constantly work towards being sure of myself. Or if
Okay.
I'm feeling
Mm,
if I don't, you know what I mean? Because if you act like if you act like what you want to be, you're eventually gonna get there. You
yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing to do that. It's like if you feel if you're depressed, for example, it's not gonna help if you're always frowning. You know,
Yes.
it's
Mm,
not gonna help at all. You should start smiling, start trying to be nice. You know,
yeah.
and that will actually help your depression rather than just staying in your sadness,
Yeah.
even though it's not easy, and I guess that's the whole process for us. And man, I think it's just being okay with yourself, stepping back from the world from time to time, and just
Mm,
realizing that nobody is perfect. You know,
yes.
um, going. I think it's also good to like just really observe different cultures on social
Mm,
media and online, and you just really see how each culture differs. You know, even from our
yes.
country to yours, and
Yes.
from both our countries to America or to China. You
Yeah.
know, when you understand how all these rules of what confidence is and what coolness is, it really
Yeah.
just differs every country.
Every country. Yeah.
It's different or it's different everywhere. And then you
Yeah.
realize that like if everything is different, then there are no fixed rules to what is correct. That means
Yes.
you are correct for yourself, and you just got to be correct for yourself. You know.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Maybe we need to stop uh to have this very narrow way of looking at things. Sometimes we need to, I guess, broaden it to look at from the outside, because what I like the most from what you said is we have to act in a certain manner if you want to, if we want to be that way. I used to be someone who is very shy, and I used to be someone who is very insecure, but then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna be able to talk with everyone, and then I to the point where I started to talk with you, someone who is from Singapore. But back in the day, I don't even know how to talk. It's really sad when you think about it. But I'm in this point of my life right now in which I able to talk to a lot of people. Even though I still have that insecurity deep down inside me, I still have that lack of confidence in me. But because I decided, I want to act this way, then I become like this. But I guess that's also something that you're also doing, because what we show to the world is what we want to be, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if you put it in perspective, right? I
Mm.
by the way, I also couldn't talk for anything. I couldn't talk at all.
Yeah,
Like
I
when I
mean,
was like
well,
6 years ago,
yeah,
6 to 8 years ago, I couldn't speak at all. So it's like,
yeah.
and then if you put it in perspective, you realize that like, how are you so confident now? How are you so eloquent and fluent right now? It's
Yeah.
purely because you were actually insecure with yourself when you first started. Because if you
Yes.
weren't insecure,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be this good now. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
then you go back and then you thank yourself for being insecure in the
For
first
being
place.
insecure. Yeah. I
You
guess
know, and that changes everything.
it changes everything. Yeah. Sometimes when you felt insecure, you will instantly blame yourself for being insecure, when in reality, feeling insecure is just when you feel that there is something that's not that there is lacking from you. That's basically. And then if you decided to change the way you look at it when you're insecure, and then you're trying to improve yourself, it's not exactly the worst thing that you could ever felt. don't blame yourself for being insecure, because by being insecure sometimes it could lead you to being a better person, being a better thing. That's something that's really interesting.
Yeah,
The
and
way of thinking. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really really
yeah,
interesting.
exactly. And I don't think you're even supposed to be secure all the time. It doesn't make sense
Yeah.
because you know
Mm.
what I mean.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't make
yeah,
sense when you're being secure at all times. There must be. I guess it could be it could be two things. You know, when you're feeling secure all the times, maybe I guess your life is all okay, or maybe you're just completely oblivious with what is on your surroundings, you know, and on yourself as well, and you're trying to ignore what could improve yourself on. Yeah, and
exactly,
it's
man.
really really
Yeah,
great. Thank you for talking. For this is a very serious subject in my opinion. I didn't expect that we're actually going to talk about self-love and insecurity and all that stuff, and I guess we can relate because we have the same sort of problems. We used to have that back then. We don't really we can't really talk with a lot of people, and this is exactly why your song Dear Me would be very important to a lot of people, because to accept ourselves is very important, but not a lot of people can actually do that. But my next question regarding Dear Me is, it may be a little bit outside the box, and a lot of people would consider this question a bit absurd. But I would ask you, if Dear Me was an Asian cuisine, what dish it would be? Joe, Asian cuisine. It could be a
it,
Singaporean cuisine
it would be a very tasty and healthy piece of sushi.
piece of sushi. Why?
Um, because it's very unassuming, but it's also very healthy, very clean on the stomach. You know,
Yeah,
no
no
harm
harm.
eating it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's very clean. It's very healthy. It's just very wholesome, you know, when you're looking at sushi, and that's exactly the vibes that you're gonna get while listening to Dear Me. Is that what you're trying to say?
I hope so. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
hope they like the song. I hope they resonate with the song. You know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. Are there anything that you want to say, last?
No, it's just nice to talk to you again. Always.
Ah, yeah, it's also
Thanks for
nice
taking
talking
the
to you
time.
again. I hope it can be. I hope I can see you performing live on stage again here in Indonesia, which is I hope next year maybe, because it's been really really sad. I'm not able to see any concert, and then probably for you as well, for not being able to do any live show. But thank you so much, Joe. It's been an absolute
Thank you, brother.
honor for talking to you. I learned a lot about how to love yourself, and in fact that discovering yourself is not a destination; it's a constant state of figuring out. That's also really great. I'll see you again, Joel. Thank you so much
I'll
for the
see you, dude.
time. Congratulations
No,
on the
thank you.
release of Dear Me. I can wait to talk to you again soon. Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon, dude.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.